Sometimes I think that God realizes as we humans, as we know things, we become prideful. And so in order to make sure that we have at least a temptation to be humble, if we want to call it that, God withholds information from us. So let's investigate the life of Jacob. Now, Jacob is an interesting fellow. He's the grandson of Abraham, and God is speaking to and visiting Jacob in a dream. Then he, Jacob, fell asleep in that place and had a dream. It's not really important what the dream was, although it was the reiteration of Abram's covenant with God, where God says, hey, we're going to give you this land. And so Jacob has the ability to receive visions and supernatural knowledge from God. In Genesis 31, the Lord is speaking to Jacob again. Return to your land of your fathers and to your relatives, I will be with you. So God is speaking to Jacob. Jacob has the ability to hear from God and getting direction for his life. In the same chapter, Jacob is reiterating a dream that he has had previously. So he's describing a situation. He's having discussion with his wives, and he's discussing with them what has happened. And he says, in the dream, the angel of the Lord said to me. So again, Jacob has the ability to get dreams and visions, and he's hearing from God, and that's pretty awesome. And so Jacob might think, I have the inside scoop. I know all things. But watch this. Genesis 46, right? God spoke to Israel in a vision. So here we got another vision. At the very, very end, God says something very interesting to Jacob as far as our story is concerned. Joseph will close your eyes. Up until this point, Jacob has for about 25 years approximately believed that Joseph was dead. God had the ability, because we know Jacob was receiving dreams and visions and was hearing God. God had the ability to show up to Jacob and say, you know, Jacob, you really don't have to grieve the death of your son Joseph, because in reality he's not dead, he's down in Egypt. Right? Your sons, they lied to you. Right? God could have done that, but he didn't. Even though Jacob had all kinds of spiritual insight and wisdom and dreams and visions, he did not know. He believed a lie for 25 years, and God allowed him to believe a lie for 25 years. Only after Jacob found out through the sons that Joseph was still alive, only then did God say, oh, by the way, Joseph, he's still alive, and he's going to do this for you. And so I think this is very important. For example, the prophetic, especially the prophetic, those people who operate in the prophetic, and God shows you dreams and visions, and God speaks to you. It's easy to become prideful, and it's easy to think that everything you think is true or is from God or some revelation, because that's not the case. Because sometimes I think just to keep us humble, God keeps us from knowing everything. Right now we look through a glass darkly, and we don't know everything. So we need to be humble. Just because God might show us visions and dreams and things, just because God gives us maybe insight, or God has made us successful in business miraculously, just because those things have happened, that does not mean we have arrived and we know everything. We have to know our place. We have to be careful in thinking that everything we think is true. And so we hope this video is an encouragement to you, that we all stay humble, even if God is using us in miraculous ways.